Let's get started. So let's get started a little bit on our background. I think maybe if many of you, probably many of you already know, we are actually based in Bina, in Kampung Beribi. So I think if you drive on the way to Starbucks in Beribi, you'll be able to see an old building that says auditorium. So that's where Jobcentre Brunei is. Okay, so just sharing a little bit of the objective Jobcentre Brunei and what we actually do here. So we are a government agency, but our role is to facilitate local job seekers to find jobs in the private sector. But at the same time, we also provide a platform for companies in the private sector to look for local workers. So basically what we do is we provide platform for both job seekers and also employers to meet. So artinya, for example, if a job seeker is currently seeking for jobs in the private sector, so that's where we actually come in. And we also help employers to try to find local workers. Okay, so next is, so why we actually exist is that, you know, I came across this as well when I actually graduated, perhaps I think over 10 years ago after finished university. I wasn't sure where to start. You know, I wasn't sure where to find the right vacancies or what's the available vacancies at the moment. So I think at that time, back then, when we were seeking for employment, we had to, you know, look for various places. So we went to the newspaper. So I think at that time, a lot of the vacancies were advertised in the newspaper, if not as well in Facebook and so on. So this is why we are here today. So sometime in 2016, Jobcentre was rebranded. So we have introduced an online platform for everybody. So one of the things that we actually do is to address in terms of the difficulties in finding a job is that we try to provide this sort of information. I think if you can see the screen at the moment, you know, perhaps these are the questions that job seekers usually ask. You're not sure where to apply. You're not sure, you know, what's the job description or information such as perhaps the salary, where's the job, you know, what's the requirement and so on. And also maybe you want to start finding a job, but you don't know how to prepare your CV or you want to find companies. So this is how we can help you. Okay, so next I move on to the available services that we have. I'll just briefly go through it because I think later there'll be a couple of slides to describe more about it. So one is we have a JCB website. If you don't know, our website is www.jobcentrebrunei.gov.bn. And this is a place where you can see available vacancies, what sort of companies are hiring. I'll talk more about it a bit later. So secondly as well, we do job matching activities. So just briefly, job matching is Jobcentre Brunei have an extensive list of job seekers registered. So perhaps if you are one of them, then you are entitled, andangnya, you are automatically included in the job matching activity. So what it means is that, for example, if you didn't apply for the job, but perhaps there's a company somewhat seeking for someone with a background of perhaps IT. So everybody registered in Jobcentre Brunei with a background of IT will be matched to the job, and then it'll be up to the company to contact further for recruitment activities. Okay. So next is data and statistics. So I will share a little bit later as well in terms of where the jobs are. And fourthly, we have iReady apprenticeship program, which my colleague will share a bit later. We also run short courses and training. So sometimes we do it in-house, but we also invite several companies to conduct soft skills and basic training. Outreach programs. So before this, we did a lot of outreach programs. So we went to different districts, different mukim, and sometimes I think you might have heard a number of recruitment drives. So that's one of our initiatives to actually help out job seekers in different districts to either, access Jobcentre punya services or also help them find jobs. So if you look here, okay, I will do, okay, sorry. So we have these two other services that we also run, CV writing and interview tips. We have other facilities in Jobcentre Brunei as well to do walk-in interview. So before COVID, again, we had walk-in interviews every single week done at Jobcentre Brunei, and it's open to all job seekers, local job seekers. So here, another thing is community outreach and also institution outreach. Okay, so let me dive in a little bit more about what I explained earlier on. So one of the services that we provide for job seekers is our online platform, yeah? So I mentioned that we have this website. So it's an online recruitment system. It's available anywhere and anytime. So you can access it right now if you're even on your phone. You'll be able to see the sort of available vacancies. So I think just to share with you, this portal is used by over 1,000 companies. So every single week, there'll be new vacancies, or if not every single day, there'll be new vacancies advertised. Okay, so thirdly as well, under this online platform, you'll be able to you'll be able to, I think here, review, view application and view job vacancies available. And then, okay, so this slide was actually for companies, but if you're a job seeker, so here, your profile can be accessed by companies. So that's why it's very important when you register with Jobcentre Brunei, you'll have to have a very complete profile. So there, I'll explain a bit more after this in terms of what sort of information that is required when you when you register with Jobcentre Brunei. And fifth is you can view your application status. So you'll be able to see whether or not you're shortlisted, called for interview, and so on. And lastly, so the system also has an ability to job match you to available jobs automatically once you register. Okay, so in terms of registration, just to go over it, one is, so you need an eDarussalam account. So once you have that, you can log into Jobcentre Brunei. You can go to our website and log in with your eDarussalam account. So here, you can also build your profile. So yes, there are mandatory fields such as your education background and so on. But what I like to emphasize is that you also, it's very important for you to also put in any work experience that you have or any skills that you possess so that the companies can see the extra skills or experience that you have compared to other candidates. So let's say you don't really have an experience, right? Work experience. Take your time, for example, especially if you are currently in school, and for example, if you are enrolled to any of the higher education, so perhaps within that 4 years of education, to try to do some sort of I'm sure in UBD or even UTB, you have, extracurricular activities or projects or, volunteering. So that can also be included in your work experience. So when you apply for a job or when you register in Jobcentre Brunei. Okay. So next, when you've built up your profile, you can already start browsing the available vacancies. So next, if, for example, if you are called in for interview, you'll receive notification. You'll also be able to track your application status. And inshallah, if you are successful, you will also be hired via the system. So that's the end-to-end process in terms of Jobcentre Brunei. But next, I would also like to share a little bit more about, what extra efforts in terms of, aside from the system that Jobcentre Brunei actually do to help you to find a job. So like I said, first things first is very important to get started is to get you registered. So we'll be able to capture all your details into our system. So like I said, even if you didn't apply for the job, however, if you're suitable for the job that is advertised on Jobcentre Brunei, so we actually have a couple of companies lately that come forward to Jobcentre Brunei. Hey, I need a list of people, for example, in business administration background. Can you provide us? So sometimes these companies do not advertise, so they actually ask for a list of names from Jobcentre Brunei, and we happily provide that to the company. I think secondly as well, so that one is perhaps talking more about the private sector, yeah. So Alhamdulillah, lately, Joe, I think starting last year, there were a number of, for example, MOH. So at that time, I think when we were, when the first or second wave of COVID landed, they were requiring a lot of temporary workers. So at that time, Job Center worked closely with MOH as well, where we provided them with a list of locals that could be suitable according to their requirement for temporary workers. So Alhamdulillah, I think just to share with you, last year alone, we helped them about there were around about 80 job seekers who managed to find, temporary jobs to support MOH as well in their either vaccination drive or swabbing drive. So that's the thing. First things first is once you are interested to find a job, just to get yourself registered dulu with Jobcentre Brunei. Okay, so this one, okay, walk-in interview. So like I said, dulu we used to conduct walk-in interview, but at the moment we are not really open for public yet. So inshallah, when we do happen to conduct a walk-in interview, you'll be able to get updates from it from our social media account. So next is also we conduct training and courses. So again, we used to run it physically in our auditorium. So in Jobcentre Brunei, we have a huge auditorium that can cater about 100 people. So from there, so we run this sort of trainings. But I think if you do not know, at the moment, we also run it online. So I think, again, if you go through our Instagram, you'll be able to see the sessions when we conduct our CV clinic and also interview clinic. Okay, so next is also in terms of career guidance. So we've come across with job seekers, which I think I was probably one of them when I finished university. I didn't know where to start. I wasn't sure what I was interested in. I wasn't sure what other skills or experience or background that I have. I need what sort of jobs am I suitable for, or what sort of jobs that I can go for or look for. So here we'll also be able to help job seekers. So one, in terms of, yes, obviously we help to create your own CV. So also, for example, if you have your interview coming up, we can help you in helping, preparing for your interview sessions. But at the same time, we also help you explore, what sort of vacancies that could be suitable with your background and so on. So these are the services that we have. Okay, so 9:20. I've probably about 15 minutes. I'm 15 minutes in. Okay, so maybe just briefly, I want to share with you where are the jobs. So these are the data that we captured as of last year alone. Okay, so this was last year, okay? So last year, in 2021, these were the job opportunities available on our website. So there were around 2,980 available. But obviously here, if you can see, majority of it were in the accommodation and food sector, and wholesale and repair, retail, and also construction. Mining and quarrying is oil and gas. So if you look here, professional, scientific, and neat are more like engineering jobs or that sort of consultation. So these were the highly hiring companies last year. And I think if we look into IRD opportunities, majority of it, these were, if I'm not mistaken, as well, the industry. There were a lot in the professional sector as well, which are engineering. I think Shah will explain a little bit more after this. So secondly, we also have a kementerian. So at the moment, IRD is open to private sector and also the government sector. So a number of the Kementerian were also recruiting iReady at that time. So these were the sort of job opportunities available last year. But what I wanted to share with you as well is 2890. Okay, so how many vacancies were actually closed with local hire? Sorry, I think this data was okay. Okay, we have some questions, but I think we'll answer that a little bit later. So these were the job vacancies that were available that were not closed. Just to share with you, these were the vacancies that was closed. So again, a lot of them were in the wholesale, retail sector, admin, and so on. So the oil and gas were also recruiting a lot last year. If you look here in terms of the top 15 position, a lot of the vacancies were catered for the ones that were filled now, that were for secondary education and below. But there were a lot as well, like I mentioned. If you look here in terms of community health workers, this is where the MOH recruitment were included. Okay, so end of last year as well, and I think the vacancy will also carried forward this year. So there was still a lot of vacancies that remained unfilled. But again, I think in terms of the unfilled sector, majority of them were quite similar to those companies that were hiring and hired locals. But here, if you can see as well, there were some vacancies that were remain unfilled for degree. TVET levels quite 34%. And if you see here, secondary education below were quite high as well in HND. So these vacancies were still unfilled. So perhaps if you want to have a look at what sort of vacancies in detail, then we can, we can guide you. So we've had a number of job seekers that come forward during the online session. So they wanted to see what sort of jobs were available. Okay, so I think if I've spoken a lot about in terms of our services, so perhaps maybe a lot of you want to know about the iReady. So I will pass the floor to my colleague Shah, and she will continue with the iReady briefing.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everybody. So my name is Shah from Jobcentre Brunei. Okay, so today I will explain the iReady apprenticeship program. Okay. Okay, so iReady apprenticeship program. I think some of you will pretty familiar with this iReady apprenticeship program. So basically, this iReady apprenticeship program I will explain the history dulu lah. Okay, so basically, this iReady apprenticeship program you start on 2017. Di mana in 2021 we already have 4 batch of this iReady apprenticeship program. Okay, so what is this iReady apprenticeship program? Okay, so this iReady apprenticeship program is an 18 months apprenticeship program where this is a platform to expose unemployed local job seekers to various industry. Okay, so what do we expect for this iReady apprenticeship program? Is continuous coaching and mentoring. Okay, to be done by the respective host organization to ensure the development of the people who join this iReady apprenticeship program meets the industry need. Okay, so the development of the job seeker okay, and then the capability development will also be monitored regularly, and host organization must provide training, including on-the-job training, to equip apprentices with the necessary skill and certification in executing their roles and tasks. Okay, so basically, apprentices is a job seeker who successfully joined this iReady apprenticeship program. Okay, so for this iReady apprenticeship program, so we provide monthly allowance, which will be funded by the government. okay, plus top up in the private sector. Okay, so basically the government will provide a monthly allowance for a maximum period of 18 months. Okay, and host organization in the private sector only must provide top up allowance as follows. Okay, if you see here, okay, the level of qualification for degree and above, the allowance from the first month until the 18 months is at $100. Okay, so on the 11th month, private sector compulsory must provide top-up allowance to the apprentices of amountnya $400. Okay, and for diploma, okay, diploma is level 5 or equivalent. Government allowance will be $600 and the private sector top up will be $300 starting from the 11th month. Okay, and then for TVET, level 2 to 4 or equivalent, the government allowance will be $400 and then the private sector top up will be $300. However, please bear in mind now for the apprentice who join this iReady apprenticeship program, the allowance will minus TAP and SCP, di mana they are required to join TAP and SCP, where they will make contributions in accordance to the TAP Act and SCP order. Okay. So what is our main objective? The main objective of this iReady is to increase local job seekers' marketability and employability, okay, and the capability building of the local workforce. This is the main objectives of this iReady program, okay. And then how will iReady benefit local job seekers? So iReady will provide learning opportunity to the local job seeker to be competitive in the job market and reskilling opportunity, experience authentic working environment, and on-the-job training. So this is how iReady will benefit the local job seeker. Okay, so eligibility for job seeker. Okay, so for job seeker, who is eligible for this program is the citizen of His Majesty the Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan Negara Brunei Darussalam, or permanent residents of Brunei Darussalam. Okay, and then registered unemployed local job seekers with qualification of degree, HND or TVET. Okay, so basically the job seeker must be registered at Jobcentre Brunei punya website lah. Okay, and then has minimal working experience. Okay. Okay, so the application process for this iReady ni. Okay, so what I mentioned tadi, so job seeker need to be registered with Jobcentre Brunei. Okay, and then we also share talent pool to companies according to qualification and academic background. So basically, the job seeker kadang-kadang will kena call from the company. Okay, so they will call macam we get your kami dapat your name from Jobcentre Brunei. So don't worry, sebenarnya we shared your name to the company because they have a specific qualification yang dorang minta, so we give it to them and then they will call the job seeker. Okay, or job seeker can apply the position posted by participating companies on JCB portal. Okay, so basically ada some of the position kena advertise arah our website. So di mana job seeker can apply the position online. Okay, and then after that, shortlisted candidate, okay, will be interviewed by a panel consisting of host organization member. Okay, so basically the shortlisting process will be done by the company. Okay, and interviewing. Okay, once successful candidates, once the company identified the successful candidate, okay, the successful candidates will be offered. Okay, and will sign an iReady apprenticeship contract. Di mana around the contract there will be the terms and conditions of this iReady program. Okay, so the application process is quite straightforward. Okay, okay, and then the roles and responsibility of apprentices. Okay, so basically the role and responsibility with this iReady apprenticeship program. Okay, we hope that apprentices who can identify and successfully join this program to make this opportunity, okay, to develop new skills and knowledge, okay, because kira beruntung lah, okay, so you have an experience, so please make full use of this opportunity, okay, and develop your skill, okay lah, develop your skill towards being more marketable lah in the job market, okay. And then number 2, demonstrate a high level of integrity and discipline at the workplace, okay. Okay, walaupun this contract is under Jobcentre Brunei, you must also provide a high level of discipline in at your workplace satu. Okay, and please show full dedication and commitment towards this apprenticeship, towards the apprenticeship. Okay, and then number 4, to be proactive and to enhance self-development and to follow the host organization respective rules and regulation. Okay, so basically this is my last slide. Okay. And then, okay. So what next? Okay. So what next untuk bis kita? Okay. So if you're interested to look for job, okay, you can register to Jobcentre Brunei. Okay. However, if you have any problem by registering this our Jobcentre Brunei, you can just contact our hotline. Okay. And then number 2. You can attend CV writing and interview tips sessions. So CV writing and interview tips, tadi ada Kara mention regarding CV writing and interview tips. Okay, di mana you can lihat our IG because we do conduct a session, an online session for CV writing and interview tips. Okay, and then to subscribe to Jobcentre Telegram and follow our Instagram for up-to-date vacancies and activities. So di sana we do actively post our activity and vacancies are our Telegram and Instagram. Okay, and explore Jobcentre website for available jobs. Okay, so our Jobcentre website, you can scroll down and search for for available jobs via our website. Okay, and then if you still need help, you can set up a one-to-one session with Jobcentre Brunei. Okay, di mana you can just go to our Jobcentre punya Instagram, and then di sana you can see a book now button. So di sana we can talk to us one-to-one. If you have any problem, if you need help with your CV, if you need help with your interview tips, so you can just book a session with us. Okay, so that's all. Okay, and thank you. You can there's our JCB hotline at 2399933.
Okay, thank you, Misha. There are a lot of questions in the chat area. Maybe you can answer some of it.
Okay.
So the first question is that, do you guarantee already from government sector will be taken permanently once their contract has finished?
Okay, so for this already punya, okay, so basically for the IRDR government sector, so we need to see what is our objective of this IRD program. Okay, so our objective is to give working experience. Okay, and then for government sector, okay, the recruitment is you have to go through SPA. Okay, so di mana so basically for this already under government sector, what the advantage is you can gain experience working with the government. Okay. However, for permanent, we have to go through the SPA recruitment process. Okay. And then the next question, okay, is already similar to temporary job. Okay. So basically, back to our objective of this already program is for apprentices or job seekers to gain experience. Okay. However, for this IRDNA, we do encourage the company to provide conditional offer of employment. Okay. So basically to convert the apprentice to permanent However, it will be based on the performance of these apprentices. Okay. And then next is, what is the purpose of introducing IRD to public sector? So basically the purpose of IRD is to berbalik lagi to our main objective is for the job seekers to gain to gain experience working and to be competitive in the job market. Okay. And then next, can this IRD contracts be extended? Okay, so can this IRD contract be extended? Okay, so IRD, the contract is so basically now the contract for IRD is 18 months only. Okay, 18 bulan, which is 1 year and a half. Okay, and then how do JCB react and the actions to be taken to the exploitation, action, or being misused by the private and public sector? Okay, so for that, please, if you have any issue, okay, please do reach out to Jobcentre Brunei. Okay, di sana we will do actions accordingly. Okay, so please do talk to us, and then we do have like many we have many channels for you to reach out to us. Okay, so di sana please talk to us, and then we will do our actions accordingly. Okay. Okay, I think next we can for this one, for the rate of employment under the IRD program, what is the rate of employment under IRD program in government and private sector, which is more assured. So that one I can pass it to Kyra. Yeah, I will.
Sorry, okay. So with regards to in terms of employment under IRD programs, so meaning I think you're asking how many people that that actually found employment or how many were converted. So Shah is finding the data at the moment. She's looking at it. So I think if you can, there's an account here that says program has. So she'll be able to share from that platform. But I will try to go to the next question first, because we're still getting the data for you. What if the IRD did not gain experience? Instead, they are the one coaching instead. So I think just like what my colleague Shah has mentioned. So in terms of this IRD, there are a lot of platforms for you to, for example, to reach out to Jobcentre Brunei just to express whatever concerns that you have. So I think just to share with you before this, so there were a number of apprentices as well. There were a number of apprentices as well that come to, Jobcentre Brunei, saying that, they're not treated fairly by their supervisors and so on, quite unhappy. So what we actually do is, so we'll have a one-to-one with with the apprentice, but at the same time, we will also have another session with the supervisor in terms of doing recommendation and so on. So I think that is a way where Jobcentre Brunei can also help or protect the welfare of the apprentices if they do feel that they are not, if they're being misused and so on. So yeah, so that's one of the things that how we can resolve. So there's also another items where, okay, when we find that some of the IRDs were not, in I would say in a good environment. So there are also some cases where we will help to relocate the apprentice somewhere else. But this sort of things, we only, we need your input to go forward. For example, if you are having any difficulties or if you know anybody who are not experiencing like a good working environment, please ask them to reach out to Jobcentre Brunei so we can take necessary actions. Okay, so Shah, do you have any? I will allow my colleague to share.
Okay. So moving on to the question regarding what is the rate of employment under the IRD program in government and private sector. Okay, so basically, so the IRD program dari ia start, we do have job seekers who kena employed after the either after the IRD apprenticeship or during their IRD apprenticeship. Okay, so from our data, okay, so we do have more than 1,000 people kena bekerja lah, okay, di mana 1,500 plus of them join the kena ambil bekerja, okay, either converted to permanent ataupun employed, kena employed to others, okay. So basically, so, and also what I mentioned juga tadi kan, okay. If from the government sector, you have to go through melalui the SPA punya recruitment process, okay. For the private sector punya part, okay, the company we encourage them to convert the apprentice to permanent, okay, and then juga they also juga it will not industry kena convert to permanent. Kadang-kadang this apprentice yang under the IRD program during the IRD apprenticeship program itu dorang kena ambil oleh kira macam kena bagi offer, okay, from company lain. So that's how much lah our total employment under this IRD apprenticeship program. Okay.
I think going to there's a question here as well. How can you make sure that we have a permanent job after our IRD contract has finished? Maybe I want to share a little bit of a story lah in terms of how IRD was also created. So back then, sometime in 2017, so we were doing a recruitment fair, right, at our Bridex. So a lot, and then when we analyzed a lot of the vacancies, I thought, especially even when we look into Jobcentre Brunei as well, a lot of the vacancies, one of the requirement is that possessing at least 2 to 3 years experience. So I think this is the dilemma that, our graduates also face. How can we get experience when we're fresh off, but then all of these requirements only require us to be experienced. So that's why Jobcentre Brunei has created the IRD program. It's a program to actually give you the working experience you need. So let's say, for example, after 18 months, or initially it was 3 years, after 3 years, finishing from the IRD program, it's something that you can put in your CV, your working experience, what sort of skills that you actually develop, and what sort of certification or trainings that you attended. So something like that. So that was the main objective of the IRD program, so that, it's something that you can actually boost or fill in the working experience in your CV. It's something that you can talk about when you do your interview, So when people ask, so do you have any working experience? So it's something that you can talk during the interview that, okay, I was an IRD apprentice for 18 months, and these were the sort of things that we actually did. These were the skills that I accomplished, and so on. So, so let's say, yes, we have found some of the IRD apprentices, and after 18 months, they finished, and the company did not take them in, or they didn't land any jobs in the government sector. So again, they go back to Jobcentre Brunei and we do the job matching process for them. But again, after that, they will not be under the fresh graduate punya pool. They will be put into the experience pool where the jobs are right now. So there's a lot of jobs at the moment require experience. So, the pool from the IRD after 18 months or 2, it'll go back to the experience pool. I hope that answers your question. Okay, is there any further action from your side? Again, going back to, okay.
One, sorry for the interruption. We're running out of time, Sudah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So thank you, everyone. There are a lot of questions bilang ni. So to all the participants, if there are more queries thingy, you all can go to visit to the virtual webinar, virtual booth, arah the website, arah Haji Expo website. So all in all, thank you, Miss Khaira and also Miss Shah. To all the participants, the next session will start at 10. With that, I'll end the session. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.